Welcome to the Singularity. So, what's gonna be the future? Are we just gonna not exist, or we're gonna be like part robots? Berkeley professor says even his outstanding students aren't getting any job offers. I suspect this trend is irreversible. Humans, perfect. We automated ourselves out of a job. Also, the jobs are being outsourced to third world countries, even the intellectual jobs now. So, yeah, interesting world we live in. It still baffles me. So many people still seem so sure they won't be affected by this. I guess until it directly affects you, and by then it's built too late. Then we will finally start seeing widespread panic. Yes. Let me tell you, it's all fine. We can all have hopes of being like YouTubers or something. Just learn to code, oh. Just learn to prompt, oh. Just learn. AIs may be better at prompt optimization than humans. That's kind of true, but you also gotta like prompt the AI to make the prompt better. So there's still a human element. Like you would still need the spark. Should I buy land and start a farm? Honestly, that's an amazing idea. Because that way you can guarantee your shelter and food. That would be more security than most people can even dream of. Honestly, it doesn't seem like such a bad investment, and all things considered, might be one of the best ways to go. I hear that's what Bill Gates is doing too. Yeah, but Bill Gates is playing a different game. Just buying up a bunch of farmland? I don't know, man. Actually, good idea. Basic necessities like food will always be demand. Yeah. People are not really thinking about it, and like, certainly we live in a world where food is rather cheap, but the supermarkets and all the companies still kind of form cabals and kind of raise the prices. AI art haters were unable to distinguish AI art from non-AI art. The 1,278 people who said they utterly loathed AI art still preferred AI paintings to humans when they didn't know each. You just can't fight it. It is the future. So, from this point on, AI haters should be renamed AI simps. AI becomes the infinitely patient, personalized tutor. A 5-year-old's 45-minute ChatGPT adventure sparks a glimpse of the future of education. Yeah, it's already a thing. It's already a thing for me for like over 1 year. You can just talk to ChatGPT constantly or any AI constantly as a way to get help and get like a personalized tutor who's like 9 out of 10, which is like who's always available. 9 plus out of 10, I suppose. It's also getting better. Just watched a 5-year-old son chat with ChatGPT advanced voice mode for over 45 minutes. It started with a question about how cars were ever made. He explained it in a way that he could understand. He started peppering it with questions. Then he told it about his teacher and that he was learning to count. ChatGPT started quizzing him on counting and egging him on, making it into a game. He was laughing and having a blast, and he obviously never lost patience with him. I think this is going to be revolutionary. The essentially free, infinitely patient, super genius teacher that calibrates itself perfectly to your kid's learning style and pace. Excited about the future? Yeah. Yeah, humans might be like, oh my god, it's gonna replace the humans. Well, if AI is better than you, then it's kinda your fault. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says the next generation of employees will work 3.5 days a week and live to 100 years old. This also still, like, okay, but people in the past were just like, they just tended the farm and mainly the guy worked. So, yeah, I think that is just not good enough. People have to take a deep breath. Diamond said, technology has always replaced jobs. Your children are going to live to 100 and not have a cancer because of AI. All right. That's fair. People know nothing about the past these days. They all have myopia, especially when it comes to their interest. I read here that we will work 0 days and live to the heat death of the universe. Yeah. They've been using this crap about 3.5 work days for the next generation as a carrot for the past 70 years. Yeah. Instead, they just pocket the productivity gains for themselves. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. As long as you work for someone and they can afford, well, as long as they are incentivized and they want to exploit you, then they're just gonna do that. How about a reduced work week now for us and not the next generation that never seems to get here? Well, the unfortunate reality is that they treat you as badly as they can. JPM still has a culture of 60 to 80 hour work weeks today. AI will just make everyone do double the work. Oh, in office too? Yeah. Even if they have nothing to do, they'll be still sitting there. Dead Internet Theory, this post on our ChatGPT got 50,000 upvotes. Then OP admitted ChatGPT wrote it. Bound to happen someday. Software engineers raise the AI, and then AI is challenging software engineers. But also, this was like true even in the past. If you did some kind of automation, then you just got yourself fired. So unless you can personally benefit, the person who owns you is gonna benefit, and you're gonna be out on the streets. Berkeley professor says Suno is better musically than 80% of his students. Yeah, I should check that out. It is pretty damn cool. A professional here, 100 million streams, gold record, 10 years teaching songwriting at Berklee College of Music. Yeah. 100 million streams is actually a relevant metric. So that actually makes him a professional. Because there are professionals who are teaching music who don't have any success themselves. Musically, it's better than 80% of my students, but my best students beat it by mouse. The industry best also wins. Beat it by mouse? Okay. What's good to see. And that really doesn't surprise me because AI is mostly just like copying and rehashing things. The multi-billionaire owner of luxury jewelry company, who would even buy that garbage, Cartier, has revealed his greatest fear: robots replacing workers and the poor rising up to bring down the rich. Are you kidding me? That would be my dream. Let's go. I'm starting to feel like extreme wealth is a psychological disease for these people. It completely distorts their worldview and in their mind justifies the dehumanization of regular people. Yeah. They truly believe they are better than us. Yeah. I've witnessed many like that, and they have a sense of superiority, and others who are not like them kind of deserve their fate. Their worldviews are more self-justifying than anything else. The older generations were raised to look up to people with extreme wealth as good examples of what hard work, dedication, etc. leads to, but the culture is shifting every new generation as the idea of obtaining the American dream is changing just to be born lucky. Yeah, but if it's just your own efforts, then you're not gonna have like a crazy amount of inequality. So even if you argue like there's gonna be inequality between the poorest person and the richest person as like, 1 to 10. That is not what we have. Don't worry about the poor. Disinformation campaigns will have them attacking and blaming each other. Yeah. Also, they're kind of full of getting purged by the birth rate and the economic difficulties. Divide and conquer, a tale as old as times. The common man nowadays is more worried about Haitians eating dogs and cats and trans operations in jail rather than rising inequality. But that is what you are shown, right? You gotta a little bit more skeptical, right? I mean, if they are just showing you that constantly, there is a reason. Oh man, it's truly sad that a billionaire can no longer keep his human slaves, workers anymore. But is there really a point to this? Because I'm a person who would like to have a good life. But I'm not sure that my good life is hinged on other people having bad lives. I guess you can just live like a pharaoh, I guess. A king. But even let's suppose right now, would I have use for more money than like 10 million? At that point, I would just try to build some cheap flats for people. I think that might help. UBI would mean he gets to keep selling diamonds. Yeah, UBI is not that good enough. It's just gonna lead to a world where you're gonna have a small percentage of the population being gods who never die, and everyone else is just scrounging for scraps. They only have bread, and I guess they are kind of getting purged, I suppose. It also means hiring fewer guards. Seems like a win for the upper classes. Give us immortality and unlimited customizable FDVR, and I'm sure we'll all be happy. The thing is, if people don't, how should I say this? Make a ruckus before like robots start policing people, then that might be it for life, forever. It's an objective truth that the world was better for the working classes while the billionaires lived in fear. But also, if you just went back to some kind of tribal era, if some guy just started accumulating, then others would be like, I can use some force too and some backup arguments, and that's gonna be very convincing. Also, in this case, it's important to point out that he's just selling worthless rocks. So, not like in some cases, you can argue that maybe some tech guy has a lot of money and they use that as leverage to perhaps get us closer to a future. I'm not necessarily excusing this, but I suppose that would be an argument. This guy's just a waste of space. Google CEO. AI development is finally slowing down. The low-hanging fruit is gone. The generative AI won't probably change your life in 2025, says the CEO. Yeah, I don't know, man. I find the self-correcting prompts are pretty powerful. OpenAI, we basically have AGI today with the O1. Yeah, I guess they are overpromising, overhyping, sure. Google releasing a model that performs better. Things probably won't change that much next year. Gotta appreciate the difference between the two. Am I failing to read between the lines here? It's a little surprising that he's not hyping. The time of the idea has come. In the world of AI agents, the age of the engineer is over. The time of the idea guys has come. Finally, you out there. You were sitting on your garbage idea for over a decade, but now you can tell AI to do your garbage idea and realize that it sucks so bad. All this time you were delusional, but now you can also manifest your dreams. And I encourage you to do so. Uber for dogs, land kayaks, dating app for dogs, the love of dogs. I feel personally attacked. I know these idea guys, they all want me to program it for 10% share because it is so great and they assume others have no idea. Most of their ideas are even bad or already developed and no one cares. Please, I make my own ideas and cry about not having users. People will quickly realize that they are not an idea guy, basically no one is. Yeah. One of the key realizations that you have to have is that if you just try new things, people will generally hate it. It will not work. People hate it or will not care. So people might complain about like all the superhero movies, but they keep watching the superhero movies. And the same people who complain about the superhero movies are the ones who keep watching them. And people might complain about like various other things. I'm not gonna enumerate them all. Yet they keep consuming it. And if there are other things out there, they don't care. My point is you probably don't have a good idea. You just have something that people don't care about. Most are so bad at it. Nietzsche wrote a whole book about it and then went mad. Idea guys are those who come up with cubism when everyone else was still painting Sunni romantic sunsets. They create something from nothing. They're called geniuses for a reason. You're called a genius if it works. The rest of us, we are not geniuses, so we end up tweeting hot takes about how AI has no purpose or use case until some actual genius rolls up with an invention that makes the rest of us go, man, that was so simple. I could have come up with that. Spoiler, you didn't. But even among those who do it, you might see that it may have been tried like hundreds or thousands of times before someone nailed it. Because maybe they learn from all those failed attempts, or possibly maybe they did it first time just right, it's all likely. Or possibly the market was ready for it then. You might see that the market is kind of like bombarded with certain characters and it does not care. But then at one point it does work because the market was ready for the exact same thing that did not work before. Lamar, hate this. Arguably, doing will be even more important, but AI hence doing. That's my secret. I was always the ideal guy. But the ideal guy just like to call themselves the ideal guy. In reality, they're just I could use other names for it. Now, just ask an agent to come up with ideas. You don't need a soul to generate ideas. That's an excellent point. That's so true. Right. This is so true. Like, there's no one better than generating ideas than AI. You can just have like 1,000 ideas, 100 ideas generated for you, and they're gonna be just as bad as yours. But at least they're gonna be fast. You're not gonna be spending your days like, oh yeah, man, that idea is so special. Chinese O1 competitor DeepSeek It thought for 6 minutes to solve this problem. Yeah, this is one of the coolest things that came out lately. Actual thinking AI, instead of like, oh yeah, I'll give you like a dumb answer like 5 seconds. Amazon invest 4 billion in Anthropic. It's good to see that at least we have many dogs in this race. It seemed like OpenAI dominated for a second there. Currently, it's my favorite one too. Hopefully, this AVS partnership solves the high usage server problem. Yeah, I experienced that too. Amazon strengthening its AI lead. It cannot build its own. I'm not sure about rooting for Amazon here, but I guess at least I'm rooting for competition. Ex-Google CEO Eric Schmidt says AI will shape identity and that normal people are not ready for it. Honestly, I'm so ready for it. AI is already calmer, wiser, more positive than most people out there. So if your child's mentor and friend was AI, well, maybe not friend necessarily, or at least exclusive one, they would be probably better for it. If I had this when I was growing up, just imagine how smart I could have been if I had an AI mentor constantly helping me out. Internet plus AI. And assuming you are using it well. I completely agree, but there is no way for society to ever be ready for what is coming, as it just too significant. And this is one of the top pinned posts. Logan of Google AI Studios claims you will be fucked soon if your life plan assumes intelligence has positive market value. Yeah, I've seen social media. If you're not planning for the price of intelligence to go to zero, I'm not sure this is a good take. The next 3 to 5 years are going to be incredibly disruptive to your business / life. If intelligence goes to zero, the price of the value of intelligence, then what will be worth the damn thing? This is the main idea for the rest of the decade. Buckle up. How do you plan on the price of intelligence going to zero? Yeah, this doesn't check out. I guess you can argue from the perspective that possibly AI can do more things for you. But if anything, intelligence is gonna be more relevant because other things are gonna be even less relevant. Start doing physical work that is also replaced with robots. You can plan for it essentially, unless you currently have a stack of fiat and bet that it won't go away in the future. Yeah. I don't think knowing things, being able to make good decisions, and adapting is gonna go away in the future. If anything, critical thinking is only gonna be more and more important as other things are just completely gonna go away. I wonder if the world will eventually become a giant high school. I don't know. With social popularity and athleticism as the main status drivers, with AI and robots taking care of everything, like parents and school staff, nerds are programming themselves into obsolescence. Like opposite, people from Bali? That's a good question. I have already given up on my life plans since this January. No offense, but this is such a reckless strategy, and it is pretty extreme even for this subreddit. You are basically betting that AGI ASI, techno-utopia, or dystopia is right around the corner. If it isn't, which is very plausible for the multitude of reasons, you're gonna regret it. It's much preferable to be safe than sorry. Yeah, I agree with this take, very much so. I just thought that the previous one was a joke, and I think it is. You still gotta do things, even if they ultimately turn out to be pointless. But they still kind of hedged against bad outcomes. How the fuck you're supposed to plan if for a world where intelligence has zero market value? I'm so tired of these Silicon Valley types and their grandiose claims. The average Joe is better off just living life like normal. Yeah, that's a good point. That's gotta be closer, but have your eyes open. Because what's gonna be the future? You're gonna have like machines and AI that are gonna be our overseers, and we are just completely useless. We are idiots, basically animals, just kept for fun, because our forerunners programmed the machines to take care of us. I don't think that's good enough. Not for me. Anthropic employee laying out the bitter truth, and based on experience with these models, I have to agree. New Sonnet is the GOAT. Claude getting better at things that actually matter while other labs compete over markdown output. Yeah. I definitely value higher level reasoning more and solving unique problems than basically like solving known problems. You can just Google anyway. I use Claude daily for translations. It's fast, understands context, and will identify idiom substitutions, which a real-world translator would have difficulty doing in real time. Yi is better at Mandarin to English, but that is almost to be expected. For my personal assistant functions, Claude is in some ways better than a secretary. I don't have an AI assistant. I should look into it. How would that work? I need to look into it. I just found Claude and have found it can make some pretty good song lyrics. The Claude sub has gone from being completely enamored by Claude to borderline hating it lately. I think it has limitations for sure, and it's clear, and it's not a clear winner like some people claim. Every model has its strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, that's a good point. It kind of doesn't matter what they were trained on. It has a lot to do with the message limits for pro users being arbitrary, and sometimes users hitting the message limits after as low as 10 messages or so. Yeah. And this is gonna mean nothing to most of you, but I was using Windsurf with Claude and it was just hitting limits all the time. And yeah. And was canceling requests. So the answers were good. Just they didn't have the infrastructure to kind of support it. After that, Claude shifts out bulleted concise output, and you will have to wait a few hours to have any kind of work done. It also acts really dumb sometimes when that happens. What's the point of getting better at things that actually matter if the paying customer can reliably use it to get their work done? Yeah. It's important to add it to the context that this is the paid experience, or was the paid experience. It got better recently. Claude is strong at coding. That's why it's popular among developers. Yeah, it's amazing at coding. Other models also have strengths elsewhere: math, creativity, document analysis, vision. That's an interesting point. So I could be overvaluing Claude because of my preference or what I value. Sonnet 3.5 is the GOAT, but the availability and limitations are so annoying. That's a good point in AI in general, that so far it seems to be burning money. OpenAI already came out with like a 200 per month model, which could totally make sense for businesses, but like not something that a regular Joe would really like to spend. So it's interesting. Is the future gonna be that? Well, I guess AI kind of started as like as just free for everyone, but now we're getting closer to the reality that it's gonna be very much pay to play.